We're in England. It's a Christian country. I don't want to hear anything about the Quran. More Christians here.
And those angels apportioning each one. Indeed, what you are promised is true. And indeed,
it has been the topic in the UK for some time now.
You don't pay all. None of you. You don't pay nothing. All you pay for is to keep opening joints. Joints like this. We don't want you here. We don't want this. We want our community back.
With predominantly white English people going on the attack. And intentionally sowing division through loads of misinformation.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
What you see is Muslim people praying in Birmingham. In the country, there are many bad faith actors.
That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law. A Restore Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way.
The one really leading the charge is Tommy Robinson.
What I'm saying is that there is a root problem. We're all symptoms. All these things are symptoms. We need to, don't waste your money. The government are going to waste their money doing an in-depth investigation into these Muslim paedophile gangs, yeah? Don't waste your money. Do an in-depth investigation into the Quran. All of this hatred has got to be coming from somewhere. Because every time we hear a philosopher or an expert on Islam who's a non-Muslim, they'll tell you.
Any Muslim who takes the Quran seriously is, in your view, an enemy of this society.
No, any Muslim that takes it in a 7th century barbaric form.
Robinson, and this is true, not actually his name being Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, at one point would claim online, "I am not racist." It doesn't really hold any weight.
I've got the name of a pub. Can I get a taxi? Taxi? Little that drives a car.
To understand the movement, get this. At one point, Robinson hosted what can only be deemed a hate rally in London, where more than 100,000 people showed up.
To watch a string of far-right speakers from here and abroad. Some pushed the Great Replacement theory, a white nationalist conspiracy theory claiming that white Europeans are being deliberately replaced by non-white immigrants, especially Muslims.
One of the most notable speakers who said they must fight back against the invasion, take a wild guess.
If this continues, that violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. For Robinson, like many others in the alt-right pipeline, they profit off of this hate. If you don't believe me, here's Robinson's kid posing for a photo with the caption, "Roses are red, violets are blue, I'm on a private jet, you're on row 32. Another post would show the lavish cars in their garage in Miami, Florida, and tours of the mansions they occupy. This comes from a man in Tommy Robinson who has pleaded for donations because he claims to have been targeted by ISIS. These are incredible self-owns that do not scream, "I'm fighting for you, I'm fighting for the working class," but rather, "Please help me continue this grift." Which reminds me, Steve Bannon, an ally to Tommy Robinson, once said of him, cheap at any price in an email to Jeffrey Epstein. By the way, to the surprise of no one, after the flex on Instagram, Robinson's son would go private. Then there's Rupert Lowe.
Will the government commit to pausing all Pakistani visas and foreign aid into the country until the Pakistani government agrees to accept any of its deported citizens that have perpetrated these crimes on British soil, and also imprisons these rapists and their accomplices in Pakistan however they see fit?
The MP is trying his best to downplay his own bigotry by, well, owning it. His goal is to strip the meaning of words like racism, xenophobe, and Islamophobe by rendering them, quote, meaningless. Basically, he's doing this.
Are you a racist? Do you hate Mexicans?
Lowe remains fixated on the existence of the 10,000 Black Interns Foundation, which provides paid work experience and internships to Black students and graduates. In addition, he would describe the program as, quote, racist filth, following the Trumpian playbook on immigration. Lowe yelled out, millions will have to go, as he pledged a policy of mass deportations to his fans. Even Elon Musk retweeted a message stating, join Rupert Lowe in Restore Britain, because he is the only one who will actually do it. Hope Not Hate has reported Lowe has won the adoration of some of the most overt fascists in the United Kingdom.
Football is an honest sport. We live in a society where political correctness basically means we can't say what we want.
Lowe was formerly chairman of Southampton Football Club before becoming an MP. Now that he's in this position, he just lets it fly. Perry McMillan, who was an elected councillor and also the chairman of the Southampton Independent Supporters Association for nearly a decade, would recall of Lowe in his own words. I always found Rupert Lowe to be one of the most unpleasant, arrogant, racist men I've ever had to deal with politically. When the Sikh community in Southampton had concerns about the new stadium the club wanted to build at St. Mary's, we met with Lowe about it, and it was crystal clear that in his eyes, he did not see that community as being even worthy of the right to a viewpoint. What else could anybody think when he shouted, "What's it got to do with a bunch of bloody ragheads?" McMillan would continue. At another meeting, after a short political discussion, Lowe asked a colleague of mine, "But surely you believe leadership comes from breeding?" My colleague was stunned, and so was I, because it was crystal clear that Lowe was deadly serious with the question. He believes in certain theories of eugenics, which, to be honest, given the rest of his political leanings, is hardly surprising. Lowe would also attack teachers' unions by claiming instructors were pushing critical views about the hard right party to pupils, wrote The Guardian. The similarities to MAGA are simply uncanny at this point. With all that being said,
how would you describe your state of mind?
No, I'm in a great state of mind, completely focused on playing well, on training. So from my side of things, nothing's changed at all.
Listen, I've known you for years, John. You're not racist, are you?
Nick, you know we're not going to talk about this matter or the investigation, so if you want to talk about the game, please.
Former Chelsea captain John Terry is directly involved. How exactly? Lowe put out a post that read, "A Restore Britain government would not spend billions bombing Iran. Instead, we would deport millions. It's a choice, and it's one we would make." Guess who liked that post? That would be former England captain Terry. When Lowe once more posted, this picture was taken in London. Restore Britain would ban the burqa, and Restore Britain would ensure that all London stations use English, and English only. Enough is enough. Vote Restore Britain to get our capital city back. There was Terry in the comments, approving it all, with 3 hand-clapping emojis and the St. George's cross. That flag, by the way, has now been co-opted by Nazis in England who threw up Sieg Heils in the streets, and right-wing protesters who flocked to hotels housing asylum seekers in a display of provocation and intimidation. There was an initiative that was named Operation Raise the Colors, started by none other than Tommy Robinson and his close ally, Andrew Currian. aka Andy Saxon. Currian runs security for the far-right party Britain First. Currian has previously been jailed for his part in a racist death. He was one of 6 men convicted in 2009 after a 59-year-old man was crushed to death by a car following a violent brawl. Now, Danny Thomas would also post this photo showing his support for Robinson. Lo and behold, who was there to engage with it and give it a like? John Terry. Lowe would quickly jump to his defense in all of this. I see that England/Chelsea legend John Terry is taking some flack for applauding Restore Britain's policy of banning the burqa and ensuring that all London stations use English and English only, he wrote. For Terry, it's a pattern.
Well, the courtroom here in central London has been hearing the kind of offensive language that may be commonplace on the football pitch, but I think you very rarely hear uttered in such a formal environment as this. John Terry, the former England soccer captain and Chelsea skipper, one of the most high-profile players in the world, is accused of racially abusing another player, Anton Ferdinand, of Queen's Park Rangers in a Premier League match last year. Terry is accused of calling Mr. Ferdinand black, but using the term in conjunction with sexually explicit swear words that the prosecution says amounts to racial abuse. Terry admits saying the phrases in question, but denies they were meant as a racial attack.
Though Terry would be acquitted in a criminal case, the FA investigation found him guilty of using abusive and/or insulting words that included a reference to race. He was banned for 4 matches and given a £220,000 fine. At this juncture, he is still involved with Chelsea Football Club. He has been in the academy as a coaching consultant since 2021, working in a part-time capacity that involves mentoring academy players. Here is the irony in all of this. His own team's 2022-2023 inclusion policy stated that one of their equality objectives is ensuring we are drawing from all parts of society and that our colleagues reflect the diverse environment that surrounds the club. Add on top of this the controversy that he had with Wayne Bridge, a former teammate who he backstabbed when allegations surfaced that Terry slept with Bridge's girlfriend and the mother of his child, which just proves the legacy has been cemented with John Terry. We know exactly who he is, and we know exactly what he stands for.